Good morning, everyone. It's 9 a.m. I'd like to welcome everybody to the April 5th, 2021 work session. Under public comment, we have Miss Elaine Reese, if you don't mind. If you want to come right here to the microphone, please, ma'am. Go ahead, Miss Reese.
Do you want me to just start, or?
Yes, ma'am.
This has been an ongoing thing, which Jason can verify. I've been calling him for several years, and I even called you twice, several times. 2 years ago, I called you and talked with you, and you was going to send an engineer out there, but hadn't seen anybody yet. But my ditch on the far side of my house in the front, there was a wooded section, and beyond that wooded section is clear land. But on the wooded section, the limbs are growed out over the ditch. I have to pull out in the road before I can see what's coming. And I live on Reed Road, which is a racetrack. And I have tried to get Jason to clear that ditch and cut those limbs off of that ditch, because when all those leaves fall, they come right down to my ditch and it stops it up. I have pictures if you'd like to see them. This is an ongoing thing. Every year I call. And this is what I hired to be cleaned out, because I couldn't get Jason him over there before the rain came. Because when it stops up like that and it runs all over my yard and under my house, we've even had to have them over there during the middle of the night, because it was running underneath the house. It was stopped up so bad. I can't afford to have somebody over there every time it rains. And they've come over there and cleaned it out, but they've just dug way down in and they've made a small swimming pool is what they've made now. So I would very much, for the safety purpose and for my ditch, and he wants to clean out the other side, which it does need it, but it's not going to do any good to dig on the other side if they're not going to clear that ditch out, because all of that's just going to be coming right down in front of my house. And I even thought about having a concrete truck out there just to fill it full of concrete and let it run out in the road or run wherever it wanted to run. And then I was even told just to set it on fire, but I didn't do that either. So I would appreciate anything that y'all are willing or try to do, but something has got to be done.
Okay. All righty. Do you want to address anything about that?
I can. And this picture right here, Elaine, this is the downwater side. This is right in front of your house, right?
No, that's it. That's on the
Where
other
the driveway
side,
is to the right.
down there at the shed.
Yeah.
Right.
See, if I were able to dig this right here out about 8 inches, it's going to keep, see, that right there is what's standing on the backside, all this debris. It's going to be debris come down through there unless we put up a wall where those woods are. You know as well as I do, it's bean stalks and corn stalks.
Well,
and
they come right up to the edge, but most of that is broken limbs out of those trees and leaves, because that section of the woods, then it cuts off, and then all of that is clear.
Yeah.
So that ditch it's full of leaves and sticks and all that right now.
Well, I just, if you would allow us, which it's the right of way, we don't have to get permission, but your yard looks so good. You've got it planted all the way from your yard, all the way into the ditch, all the way up to the road. If you would allow us to come dig 8 inches to 10 inches on that side and go across the front of your house, that's going to alleviate that water from standing on that side of the ditch. There is a hole there. You're exactly right. It's probably 6 or 7 inches deeper than where your pipe is. But when you call us to come out there and dip it out, that's where we dip all those leaves and corn stalks and whatever it is out, and it's left a hole there. But we could fix that if we were able to go on the other side and maybe just have the water go out. Mark did go out there and look at it, our engineer. And I don't know if he probably didn't get to talk to you, but
No, I haven't talked to him.
yeah. And
But why do you not want to clean that ditch out from the edge of those woods down to my driveway and those trees have got to, something's got to be done about those tree limbs. I can't see how to pull out in that road.
Well, we've cut those tree limbs to where you could see to pull out. Now, as
When
far
did
as
you
them
cut
drop,
them?
I don't know, last spring. We probably need it again. But as far as the leaves falling in there, those leaves are coming out of those woods. You know how much water comes across those woods and comes there. It's not just those leaves falling there. It's a bunch of stuff coming from where the fields have been planted, and the water comes out of the fields and comes right down the middle of those woods. So I don't know what we could do about that other than, like I suggested, you getting somebody to put a ditch on the back side of the house to carry it around. But I'll be more than happy if you'll let me come out and do that. Then we'll see what it does to the north of you in the ditch. I really don't think cleaning out that ditch is going to do any good because the slope of it is just like this, so everything's going to come right down through there anyway. If it were cleaned out and had a concrete flume in it, all that debris is still going to come right through the middle of your yard because of them woods. So
The best thing I could do when it gets dry enough is just to set it on fire and let it burn.
Well, no, but we've got 280 something miles of roads, and just because it's got leaves and some branches in those right of ways, we can't clean every one of them out. People do burn it. They put their leaves and stuff in the ditches
Because
and
there's
burn
a
them all
big
the time.
drop off where that ditch,
Yep, right there where it comes into
and
your
that
tile.
ditch is just, I wish my ditch was as even as that ditch. I
Yes.
don't know why you don't want to clean that out.
Well, it's not that I don't want to clean it out. It says I don't think that's going to alleviate your problem from having water standing, because you don't ever have water standing in front of your house. There's never any water standing in that ditch because once it gets there, it's gone.
It is now. It's wet all the way down through there.
Yeah. Well, that's where water's usually going to go. If it don't go in your house, I hope it goes in the ditch. And that's kind of the purpose of the ditch, is to hold the water. Now, it's not supposed to stagnate. But I'll come out again today. He can go out with me today.
Did you go out the other day, Martin, look at it?
I didn't get a chance last
Okay.
week, to be honest with you. I mean, he did speak to me, Colin did speak to me and asked me to go take a look at it, and since he's spoken with me, I haven't had a chance to. But I did
We
few
went
years
2
ago.
years ago.
I was fixing to say, I did go out and take a look at it, and I mean, I do concur with Jason in that the downstream side of the pipe does need to be cleaned out, or there's a dam at the end of your pipe that's helping hold water back on the north
And not
side.
much. We're not talking about much. We're
but-
talking about maybe the depth of what that picture right there will be, 6 to 8 inches.
Well, what are you going to do about that big hole y'all have created, that half swimming pool y'all have created?
Well, we can put rock or fill it back in. That's not going to be a problem to do that. But really, I'll be honest with you. When we come out there and dig it out, we're doing it 100% for you. So that's just kind of showing you that we're coming out there when you call, and you'll see the piles where we dump it, where we dump it back. But it doesn't do any good to do that. It really doesn't until we do that in front of your house, and then if you have major issues, then you got a problem that we might need to go start looking up the road and down the road how to get rid of the water. But right now, it's less than a pickup truckload of dirt, and it's problem solved.
Okay. What you see is what's going to be in front of my house instead of down there on that other end. And until that ditch is cleaned out, that's not, but you can clean that other one out.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, that'll work. And then we'll get rid of it at least in the next big rain, and if it stands there in your yard, we'll come back and we'll fix it where it goes on
Can't
out.
even get you to answer the phone. How do I
Well,
going to get you to get back over there?
I answer the phone, but it's kind of like I told you the last time that we talked, that there's no need in us hashing this conversation out nonstop until we alleviate what the real problem is. Or we just going to be butting our heads against the wall and not get anything accomplished. I'm willing to fix it 100%, but we've got to be able to do that in front of
Well,
your house.
I definitely want those tree limbs cut where I can see, because
Got
that's where I park down there.
Yeah,
and
at the
that's-
barn side.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. That won't be a problem. I'll get those.
But
I'll get
please
those
tell them
trimmed
not
back.
to drop them in the ditch where, like they did the last time, and that's why y'all had to come over in the middle of the night and get that ditch unstopped.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Reese.
Thank you.
All right, sir. Do we have any other public comment, Ellen?
Yes, Tanya Acock.
All right, ma'am, you don't mind step up to the microphone, please?
Yeah, we've been having some conversations. This is actually about Legacy Grove Edition 12, which is a subdivision that's on the agenda today. And so I guess I just to kind of fill you in, Ms. Aycock's property is on the east side of that subdivision. This is in District 2. So her property is on the east side of that Phase 12 addition. And they have a retention pond that is the entire length of that subdivision, which is essentially, it's about 1,000 feet long, I guess. So or maybe it's a little bit longer than that, probably 1,200 or 1,300 feet long, because part of it backs up to Caldera, and she is just north of Caldera. So Caldera currently has a pond that empties into a creek that goes across her property. This would be a second pond which the water currently goes to that property. It's just in a sheet flow characteristic. So it's just coming out of that field and going across her property and into that creek. And then I think the city of Athens has a property on the north side of Addition 12. I think they have a small retention pond that based off of what you had forwarded me from Micah.
Well, it's another development going in
Yes,
also.
but that's city of Athens. So total, there's about 3 properties trying to get water to that creek.
Like my little blue line creek.
And so there's currently about 3 properties that all drain to that creek. One of them's developed. 2 of them are undeveloped potential subdivisions. And so we've been talking back and forth last week, and I've got the developer's engineer looking at a few options for outfalls. And so Ms. Aycock she sent me several emails. I apologize. I was out of office Friday. So, but anyway, there's a few things going on there. So she can fill you in on her perspective now.
All righty. Go ahead, Ms. Aycock.
Morning, gentlemen. I guess I'm supposed to be here.
Yes, fine.
The outfalls are in question, and we have discussed a few different locations, and that's critical for us. One of the outfalls is on an abandoned easement. It was abandoned back in 2012. I think 4 easements were abandoned because it was running down the center of our property where we placed our home. With having 2.5, if not 3 developments kind of funneling all their water onto us, the one that's south of us, which is Phase 11, they can't do watershed properly onto Caldera because Caldera bermed up around their retaining pond. So everything now is filtering to us and down. So it's not really natural watershed that would have been occurring. Our concern is potentially being flooded out. I know they've done the math, and they're far smarter than I am. But we also have a business which is a deer farm there. And it's critical that we keep it dry so that we keep down diseases that deer are known to develop in wet areas, one of which is CWD, which has never been seen yet in Alabama, and we'd like to keep contributing to a healthy deer stock in Alabama. Ours is a little blue line creek. That's all it is. And it seems like every year I won't say that it's getting wider, but the rainfall, the area that it's taking up behind our barn and on our land is getting wider and wider with every heavy rain. There are easements that run on my northern border and on my western border. One that leads on the western border, and this is Cambridge Estate. My property is right here. It's kind of hard to see. Let me try and put it in relationship to the other development. Okay, here's the other development. So these 2 properties lay on top of each other in terms of one is north, one is south. And this is my property here. It meets at the corner. I'm going to just take this around so everybody's kind of oriented. You can pass that around. So you can see where my property is right here, and these are the 2 developments. The development north of me has 2 ponds. One is a pretty pond at the front for the entrance, but it leads back to a wet weather pond or creek or whatever the right word is, that's in their eastern corner. And it dumps right onto Caldera Phase 12, right at the corner on your northeastern corner, and then right onto our property into what is a natural water flow, and it does go into our little wet weather creek. In talking with Mark, I've asked that they relocate their 2 outlets up there so that at least it's going where there's a natural flow for the water versus it making a new inlet onto our property. And the other thing is where they're proposing is right where we have pen 5 going in for all of our male deer. And if that becomes super wet, it's not going to be usable. This is part of our income that we're concerned about. So that's pretty much it.
And just to kind of fill you guys in, I've talked with their engineer, and he's open to reviewing this. So I don't think that moving there are 2 outlets, moving them to the north end of the pond so that it exits, which is further downstream than where it currently is, so it wouldn't cross her property as much. Moving it to that north end, and then he hasn't gotten me the drawings, but he's proposed in conversation a couple of options to keep that water flow at a reasonable velocity, because that's one of my big concerns, because the rate of flow, he's actually cut the rate of flow from natural by 50% on what's coming out of there because of the size of the pond that he has and the size of the outlets. So he's actually cut the rate of flow by 50%, but his velocities are higher than what I'd like to see. So he's proposed an option to cut those velocities down. So my request is, this is for preliminary approval. This subdivision will be for preliminary approval. So I think that this option, these issues can be worked out before any final approval is given. I will make sure that his engineer is in contact with Ms. Aycock, and that we all stay in contact and come up with a reasonable solution for all parties. Because we never want to cause a development to cause harm to someone else's property. But at the same time, there is a natural watershed, and we can't move water from one watershed to another. So we do need to just make sure that we do something that's reasonable for all parties involved. So I think that there's a solution out there, and so I think it can be reached before final approval is given.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Aycock. Do we have any more public comment?
We do not.
All right, thank you. We have no resolutions, no orders today, no contracts, agreements, and grants. Under budget revisions, we have one budget revision, which will be $35,000 for motor vehicle and $10,000 from miscellaneous equipment, an amount of $45,000. This is for a trash pickup truck in District 1.
Yes, sir, that's right. Our truck is down, been in the shop now for a couple of weeks. Engineering has loaned us a vehicle to get by with until we can replace it, but that's what this is, replacement for what we've got.
All right. Any more discussion with that? All righty, moving on. We have no emergency purchase. Under board appointments, we have to appoint one Mr. Larry Hall to the Pryor Field Airport Authority Board. This is an at-large member. For those who do not know, we're for partnership in this airport. It's us, Morgan County, Decatur City, and Athens, and we just all four have to approve for the member at large. So that's all this is for. Any discussion with Mr. Hall? All right, no discussion with that. We have one award bid. That's for printers, printing of business cards for Printer Station Incorporated. It's for $329, and that'll be in the license commission. Any discussion with that? And under personnel action, we have several items here. Number one is, and I'll just go through them and then we'll go back and talk about it. We have approved hire Joshua Carter as a temporary labor and engineering department. Approved to hire Michael Chadwick Mitchell as a deputy pending a drug screening. Approved to transfer Patricia Phillips from part-time driver to a full-time driver at the council and agent effective April the 5th of 2021. Fourth will be to approve to transfer Donna Powell from a full-time driver to a full-time center manager effective April the 5th of 2021. Fifth on here be to approve to promote Logan McMahon to an equipment operator 2 in the engineering department. Sixth will be to approve the chief financial officer's job description to reflect a 16 pay grade. And number 7 would be to amend the staffing plan to reflect the amended to the chief financial officer's job description. Number 8 will be to approve to hire Leslie Williams as a part-time van driver to council agent. And number 9 will be to approve to hire James Massey Tolan as a communications officer effective April the 5th of 2021. Does anybody have any discussion with anything on the personnel action? Nobody has no discussion nowhere with any of it? All righty, so those 9 items will be under personnel action on the meeting. Then next thing on the agenda will be to approve the 13 merit increases listed below. Does anybody have any issue with anybody on the merit increase? All righty. And at this time, I'll turn it over to our engineer for his.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We got a few things to discuss today, I guess, for me to fill you in on. One, I'd like you to approve a 35-mile-per-hour truck speed limit on Newby Road going north from Gray Road to Highway 72. Had several calls about the speed of trucks on that road. I've spoken with Rogers Group. They monitor all of their trucks. Speeding's not allowed at all. So I'm not sure that the speed limit was an issue, so I was kind of perplexed. So I actually went back and I started looking at the county road design policy, which is something I probably should have done a couple years ago, to be honest. The max speed for a route with this many trucks on it, with the width of the lanes, the max speed is supposed to be 35 miles an hour for trucks. So I think what's happening is just the road is so narrow, and a truck being as large as it is, even when traveling at 45 miles an hour, just relative seems to be traveling fast. So I'd like you to consider a 35-mile-an-hour truck speed limit. So this would be a differential speed limit, 45 for cars and 35 for trucks, which is allowed per MUTCD. So like I said, I'd like you to consider that. So does anybody have any questions or concerns? Okay. If not, we have several subdivisions for your consideration today. Legacy Grove Edition 12, this is the one that we just spoke about in public comment. This is a major subdivision, so it's only for preliminary approval. It's creating 59 lots in District 2. It's east side of Mooresville Road. It's in the Legacy Grove subdivision area. We have Lester Road subdivision. This is a minor subdivision, so it's for preliminary and final, creating 2 lots in District 4. West side of Lester Road, approximately a half mile north of Highway 99. We have Oakland Meadows subdivision. This is a replat of Lot 15, Block 3. This is a minor subdivision for preliminary and final, affecting 2 lots in District 1. This is southeast intersection of Oakland Meadows Lane and Hickory Hills Lane. It's approximately a half mile north of Highway 251. We have Pepper subdivision. This is a minor, preliminary, and final, in creating 3 lots in District 3. This is south side of Huntsville Browns Ferry Road, approximately 1 mile west of Lucas Ferry Road. We have Sharp Road subdivision, Edition 1. This is a minor, preliminary, and final, creating 4 lots in District 1. This is the east side of Sharp Road, north of Bain Road. And then we have a replat in Sharp Road subdivision of tracks 1, 2, and 3. This is a minor, preliminary, and final. It's some consolidation and creation of 2 lots instead of the 3 in District 1. This is east side of Sharp Road, again at Sharp Road and Bain Road intersection. Summers Road subdivision. This is a minor, preliminary, and final, creating 12 lots in District 3. East side of Summers Road, approximately 3/4 miles north of Huntsville Browns Ferry Road. And Todd Estates, this is a replot of Tract 5. It's a minor, preliminary, and final, creating additional lot, so total of 2 lots at that location. In District 4, west side of Persimmon Tree Road, approximately 2,700 feet northwest of Persimmon Tree and Highway 99 intersection. Then we have Wallace Property Subdivision, a replat of Tracts 4 and 6. So it's a minor, so it's preliminary and final affecting those two lots in District 4. North side of Highway 72, west of Blackburn Road. And so does anybody have any discussion about the subdivisions beyond what we've already discussed?
No.
If not, we do have our paving schedule coming up, paving season coming up, and there's, I think, a fairly extensive list of paving projects that you guys have requested for us to do this year. So I'd like you to approve kind of our 2021 paving schedule as it was presented to you. If you have any questions, comments, you'd like something moved around, if I didn't quite interpret your order of priority or anything like that, let me know. But it'd be total of 22.06 miles, total expenditure of $1,136,600 within all 4 districts. This is in addition to the Rebuild Alabama projects that were approved. I can't remember, it was August, September. I can't remember when it was that we had to approve those. But so this is in addition to those projects. So it's quite a paving season that we have again this year. Last year, I think it was a big year for us. We put out 20,000 tons of asphalt, and contractor put out 13,000 tons of asphalt. I don't think we're quite as big as last year, but we may get there by the time it's all said and done. So, but if y'all have any comments, let me know.
Anybody have any discussion with the paving schedule?
Nope.
I would like to say a word. If you look on the paving schedule, there's Providence Drive there. That is in Legacy Grove. So we're having to repave a road before the subdivision is completely finished. Now, that subdivision was paved before Mark got here, and I'm grateful to him for instituting some subdivision regulations where we inspect these roads before they're accepted by the county. He's done a good job of that, and hopefully we'll see less of that paving before the subdivision is complete in the future.
All right.
That just doesn't sit well with me.
All righty. Thank you, sir. Any more discussion? You have anything else, Mark?
Well, the next item on other business, I guess, would be ours. And so if you want me to present it, I can. But I'd like for your approval to purchase a rubber-tired asphalt paver from Roadtech. This will be purchased through the HGAC cooperative bid. That's the Huntsville-Galveston area bid. And it's in the amount of $394,616. Like I said, as you know, we've done a lot of paving. 6 years ago, when I got here, we had a paver that had not necessarily been used. I think there was a learning curve that needed to take place. But our crew has really advanced, and they're really doing a good job. And they've really advanced beyond what the capability of the paver we have. And the paver we have is really not designed to put the tons of asphalt through it that we've put through it in the last 6 years, especially last year with us putting 20,000 tons of asphalt through it. It's really showing a lot of wear and tear. I know that right now we're looking at another busy paving season. This paver really would give us a lot more capability as far as smoothing out some of our mainline paving, so our wearing surfaces and those kinds of things. This has grade and slope control. It has some of those things on it that kind of will take our paving crew to the next level of being able to do it. Not to mention the efficiency of the machine. We can only put about 600 tons a day out with the machine that we have. This machine's capable of 1,600 to 1,800 tons a day if we can get the trucks and everything lined up to it. So I know, kind of going back to our paving schedule here, but I sat down and I started looking at some numbers. The capability of this machine, being able to put it with our crew, and really will start helping us bring some of our asphalt costs down to where, for not even doubling the cost of our chip seal, we can plant mix a road. So we might start looking at in the future because of the life of chip seal versus the life of plant mix, we might start looking at in the future plant mixing more of these roads that we would just chip seal today. Because 4 or 5 years, even when we chip seal it, in 4 or 5 years, you're coming back and pothole patching it again. Plant mix, we shouldn't go back to it for 10 to 15 years. So if you can, we might spend a little bit more, not quite double. I think we're spending about, with our crew doing the work, we're spending about $2.90-something a square yard for us to do the leveling and do the chip seal and everything to get a road in shape, not counting the work you guys put in before we ever show up. And then where plant mix, we can lay plant mix, which is a level and plant mix layer all at one time. We can do that for about $4.60 a square yard at today's prices. So it's not quite double, but it is more money. But you're going to get you should get more than double the life out of it. So just kind of a nugget I know we're asking for a lot of money to be spent on a machine, but just to kind of a nugget to hopefully we can bring our costs down to where it makes more sense, to where we can make some of these roads last longer to keep from having to go back to them as often. And not to mention that people would prefer to see plant mix road over chip seal road anyway. But I'm not thinking about it necessarily from that perspective as I am just from the longevity of the road.
And for the record here, we've just, after sitting down and talking with Emily about this several different times, we've got the money from carryovers and things like that. We're going to take the money from the public building fund just to pay for it, save from finance, and that way we won't have any more debt or anything like that. So it'll be just a cash purchase ordeal.
All right.
That way nobody will be liable for no payment on it. So,
And the payback for that's a year?
I mean, it's at about $20 a ton is what we save. So every ton we put out versus a contractor saves us about $20. So, I mean, that's pretty easy math to sit down and do, divide that by 20, and that's how many tons we have to put out. We've got scheduled this year to have a contractor put out about 12,000 tons, and we're scheduled to put out about 12,000 tons. So that's, like I said, I think it's pretty easy math for us to be able to sit down and do. Not to mention, I think we've got 180,000 gallons of liquid asphalt that we're going to put out. So we started kind of transferring some of that liquid asphalt to plant mix. Then we could pay it back faster.
All right, what kind of delivery date are you looking at? Because we're already into paving season right now.
One of the salesmen's back here. It's roadtech. Roadtech is the company. Cowan has somehow we're caught in the middle of. I think Cowan is taking over a dealer agreement or something. So roadtech is the one who sent the quote and everything. But I think Cowan will be the servicing company. Last I spoke to roadtech, we're thinking we should have it before May 1, sometime this month. They went and picked a machine up. roadtech is constructed in Chattanooga. It's built in Chattanooga. That's their plant. So a lot of their service techs come out of there. And so they were picking the machine up and bringing it back to Chattanooga just to do a once-over on it before they sent it to us. So there's a machine with our name on it in Chattanooga with them checking it. So we should be fairly quick.
And Darrell, well, the other day, Martin, we're going to start patching on New Cut and places like that to where when we do get the machine, we'll start the straight line paving job. Yeah. Where he kind of rearranged some of. He was going to do some work on Shaw Snakes.
Yeah, I was going to start on Black Road with Rebuild, Alabama. Mm-hmm. But if we can get this new paver, it will make us more efficient. And so I think we're close enough in time to where we're going to go do some of our standard patching. Should start this week on New Cut Road, doing the patching with the paver we have, and then we should be able to start on Black Road with this new machine.
All right, I just don't want to sit still.
No, we won't sit still. We've got too much to do.
You're gonna be the guinea pig. You're gonna get tried out in your district.
We've got way too much to do. We can't sit still.
All right.
We will work around and figure it out, but but no, we won't sit still.
All right. All right.
And one other good thing about this roadtech is they're, like I said, in Chattanooga, so parts availability, anything like that, should be really easy. You know, that's almost like buying local.
Yeah, roadtech they said that Cowan's part of their dealer agreement requires them to keep certain parts in stock and things like that. So we'll have Cowan right here in our back door, and then possibly, and if worse comes to worse, We can load that thing up and drive it to Chattanooga, to their door. I mean, so those were some advantages, I think, to going with roadtech.
Okay.
Any more discussion with the paving machine? All right, I think it's a much-needed piece of equipment. Thank you, Mark. Number 2 on here will be to declare the week of April the 11th through April the 17th National Telecommunications Week, and direct the proclamations. I have all those. They'll be here at 10 o'clock, and people don't realize how effective they're, if Jason, all of us could tell you, when we have a storm, they're the first ones that the people talk to. They're the first line of defense, and, when you have some emergency or whatever, I've seen them stay on the phone with somebody and, comfort somebody trying to help through. They are highly unrecognized, but we're gratefully appreciative of them. So, any discussion with that? We have no scheduled public hearings. This time, report of officers. Commissioner Sammett.
I don't have anything, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir.
I don't
Commissioner
have
Barksdale. Commissioner Black.
Nothing, please.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Townsend.
I don't have anything.
And I'll just thank everybody for coming. Thank everybody for being here, and we'll recess until 10 a.m.